Okay, so we have question 5. It says given f of x is equals to -1 over x minus 3 plus 2. And then 5.1 says write down the equation of the asymptote of f. So we know this is a hyperbola, and in a hyperbola we know that we have two equations of the asymptote. We have two asymptotes, which is the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote. Now the way we go about that one, we say 5.1, below we are given x minus 3. So we are given this. So we need to take this one and equate it to 0. So this becomes x minus 3 is equals to 0. Then our x is equals to 3. This becomes our vertical asymptote. And for our horizontal asymptote, we have y is equals to 2. So to answer 5.1, writing our equations, it's x is equals to 3 and y is equals to 2, and you are done. 5.2 says write down the domain of f. So what is the domain? We said the domain is a set of all possible x values, and then we know here that all the x values are possible, so we can have all the x values for this function, but then where x should not be the asymptote. So the way to write that domain is to say the domain is x element of real numbers, because all real numbers can be possible of x, but then where x is not equals to 3, right? So that's how you go about it, x element of real numbers where x is not equals to 3. Then 5.3 says determine the coordinates of the x-intercept of f. So for the x-intercept of f, we know where we are looking for the x-intercept, we have to make y 0. So we take this equation, and then where there's f of x, remember this f of x is similar to y, so we put 0 there. Let's go about it. We have f of x is equal to -1 over x minus 3 plus 2. Now at this point we're going to say -1 x minus 3 plus 2 is equal to 0. So the first thing that you want to do is take this 2 and transpose it to that other side. So that's x minus 3 is equals to -2. At this point, this -2 is the same as saying -2 over 1. So you can just cross multiply. Here we have -1 times -1 times +1, that's -1. And then x minus 2 times -2, that will give us -2x plus 6. Then we can just transpose this one to that side, 2x, and then bring over the 1 here. That's 6 plus 1, it's going to give us 7. And then divide both sides by 2. So x is equals to 7 over 2. Now having to write this as a coordinate, we're going to have 7 over 2 is to 0. So this becomes the coordinates of the x-intercept. 5.4 says write down the coordinate of the y-intercept of f. So here, this one is simple, because if we are looking for the y-intercept, we just only have to come and substitute 0 where there is x. So this is y is equals to -1 x minus 3 plus 2. So where there is x now, because I'm looking for the y-intercept, I'll have to substitute 0. So this is y is equals to -1, and then 0 there, minus 3 plus 2. So if you punch this in your calculator, it should give you something like 7 over 3, right? So writing it as a coordinates, that's 0 is to 7 over 3. Remember, this is the coordinates of the y-intercept, x is equals to 0. Now 5.5 says draw the graph of f, clearly show all the asymptotes and intercepts with the axis for 3 marks. So we must show the asymptote and the intercept with the axis. Now every time you want to draw a hyperbola graph, the best thing to do is to start with the asymptotes. So now you're just gonna have the Cartesian plane like that. So we have our Cartesian plane. Then remember, we have the equations of the asymptote. We had x is equals to 3. So 1, 2, 3. we'd have it somewhere here. So let's just indicate the asymptote. So it's not gonna be nice, but then hope you get the whole idea. Then we have y is equals to 2 for the vertical asymptote, so crossing at 2. So this one crosses at 2, this one crosses at 3. Let's indicate this is y is equals to 2, the equation of the asymptote, and then x is equal to 3. But remember now, since our a is negative, we said if a is negative, we're going to have it on the second and the fourth quadrant, right? So now we do have the intercepts with the axis, which for here, the y-intercept, we had 7/3. So it's just a matter of punching that 7/3 and find it in terms of decimal. That will now tell you which where to put it. So 7/3, if you punch it in your calculator, gives you 2.33, which means it's somewhere here above 2. So you can just indicate that point there. Remember, it doesn't have to be to scale. You can just predict it to be there. Then you go smoothly like that. Remember, these are asymptotes, so it should not touch the asymptotes. So smoothly like that, yeah. And then indicate your arrows. Then we also have the x-intercept, which gave us 7/2. So if you press 7/2 in your calculator, it gives you 3.5. So it should come just after 3 here. So 3.5, let's predict it to be somewhere here. So it goes should not touch the asymptote. Then like that. So not the nicest graph, but then you get the whole idea. So you have indicated the asymptotes. You have indicated the equations of the asymptotes. This is x is equals to 3, y is equals to 2. You have indicated the intercept. So we have this is 3.5. So you can come here and write 3.5, and then there you have 2.33, right? So you have indicated the intercept with the axis, and you have also indicated the asymptotes. So you get all your 3 marks for that. Then also do not forget to label this f of x, right? So label it f of x. Then you have it like that. Awesome.